In the heart of the city lived Daniel Reed, a young man of 25. He was quiet, hardworking, and loyal to a fault. People often said Daniel was too kind for his own good. He worked at a local printing shop, saving up to start a business of his own one day. His life was plain but steady until he met Sophia Lane. Sophia was everything Daniel was not. She was bright, lively, and charming. Wherever she went, people turned their heads. She had a smile that could light up a room, and Daniel found himself drawn to her instantly. They met by chance in a cafe, where Daniel had gone for coffee after work. Sophia had dropped her purse, and Daniel had picked it up for her. That small act opened the door to a love that Daniel thought would last forever. Their relationship grew quickly. Sophia liked the way Daniel treated her, with patience, respect, and genuine care. Unlike the men she had dated before, Daniel never raised his voice, never played games, and never made her feel unwanted. For Daniel, Sophia was the dream he never thought he deserved. He gave her his time, his attention, and soon, his heart. Months passed, and their bond seemed unbreakable. Daniel introduced Sophia to his mother, who adored her. His friends, too, said she was perfect for him. Sophia played the role well, sweet, supportive, and always by Daniel's side. But behind the laughter and the affection, Sophia carried another side to her character. She enjoyed the attention Daniel gave her, but she also craved excitement that he could not provide. While Daniel lived a simple, honest life, Sophia secretly entertained flattery from other men. She told herself it was harmless, that a few late-night messages or drinks with someone else meant nothing. Daniel, trusting as always, never suspected a thing. One night, Daniel planned a surprise dinner for her. He worked extra hours, saved his money, and bought her favorite wine. He imagined the look on her face when she saw the candles and roses he had set up in his small apartment. He believed it would be a night to remember, a step closer to asking her to share her life with him. But Sophia never showed up. She called late, her voice rushed and distant. "Sorry, Daniel. Something came up with a friend. Rain check, okay." Daniel tried not to let the disappointment show in his voice. "Of course. Take care, Sophia." After he hung up, he sat alone at the table, staring at the untouched dinner. A small ache filled his chest, but he told himself not to worry. Sophia was worth the wait. What Daniel didn't know was that Sophia's friend was not a friend at all, but another man. And while Daniel cleared the plates with a heavy heart, Sophia was across town, laughing in someone else's arms. The foundation of Daniel's love was strong, but cracks had already begun to form, cracks that would soon break wide open. The following days carried on as usual, at least on the surface. Sophia still called Daniel, still kissed him on the cheek when they met, and still spoke of future plans with casual warmth. Yet Daniel, though deeply in love, began to notice little changes. Her phone, once carelessly left on the table, was now always clutched in her hand or hidden in her bag. She laughed at messages she never showed him, brushed off his questions with vague answers, and avoided his eyes when she did. At first, Daniel convinced himself he was imagining things. "She's stressed," he told himself. "She has her own life outside of me." He wanted to trust her, because trust was all he had ever given her. But in the quiet of the night, doubts gnawed at him. One evening, Daniel invited Sophia to dinner again. She agreed, but when the day came, she canceled last minute, again. This time she claimed she was helping her cousin move into a new apartment. Daniel accepted the excuse, but something in her voice sounded rehearsed, as if she had practiced the words before saying them. That same night, as Daniel walked home from work, he saw a car parked near a downtown bar. Through the window, he caught sight of a familiar figure, Sophia. She wasn't carrying boxes or sweating from lifting furniture. She was sitting across from a tall man in a suit, her hand resting lightly on his arm as she leaned in close. Daniel froze on the sidewalk. For a moment, he thought maybe it wasn't her. Maybe his eyes were playing tricks. But then she laughed, the same laugh that had once made his heart race. There was no mistaking it. It was Sophia. His chest tightened. He didn't go inside. He didn't call her out. He simply walked away, his steps heavy, his thoughts storming. That night he barely slept, staring at the ceiling, replaying the image over and over. He wanted to believe there was an explanation. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe she was meeting a colleague, a family friend. But the way she touched the man's arm told him otherwise. The next day, Daniel decided to test her. Over coffee, he asked gently, "So, how was your cousin's move? Must have been tiring." Sophia didn't flinch. She smiled, stirred her cup, and said, "Oh, it went well. She's all settled now." The lie slid off her tongue so easily it made Daniel's stomach turn. For weeks, Daniel carried the weight of what he saw. He became quieter, more withdrawn. But Sophia didn't notice, or maybe she didn't care. She continued her game, thinking Daniel remained blind. One Saturday, when Sophia claimed she was working late, Daniel decided to follow her. He hated himself for it, but he needed the truth. His feet carried him through the city until he spotted her outside a hotel. His heart sank as he saw the same tall man from the bar, waiting by the entrance. Sophia ran to him, her arms wrapping around his neck, her lips pressing against his without hesitation. Daniel stood frozen in the shadows, every piece of his world shattering at once. He felt as though the air had been sucked from his lungs. This wasn't a mistake, a misunderstanding, or a moment of weakness. This was betrayal, clear and merciless. When Sophia finally disappeared into the hotel with the man, Daniel turned and walked away, his face pale, his heart splintering with every step. He had given her his love, his trust, his future, and she had traded it for excitement and lies. What Daniel didn't know was that this night would be the turning point. The mask Sophia had worn for months was gone, and all that remained was her true character. And with that truth came heartbreak Daniel would never forget. The following morning, Daniel sat on the edge of his bed with his head in his hands. He hadn't slept at all. Images of Sophia in another man's arms haunted him, each memory cutting deeper than the last. He had always believed love was built on honesty, and now he realized his own love story had been nothing but a fragile dream. By afternoon, he decided he couldn't carry the weight of silence anymore. He needed answers. He needed her to look him in the eye and tell him why. Daniel called Sophia, his voice calm but heavy. "Can you come over tonight? I need to see you." She agreed quickly, almost too quickly, her tone cheerful as if nothing was wrong. That made the ache in Daniel's chest even sharper. When evening came, Sophia walked into his apartment wearing the same bright smile he had fallen for. She kissed his cheek, set her bag on the chair, and began chatting about her day. Daniel sat quietly across from her, his eyes fixed, his face unreadable. Finally, he reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. With trembling hands, he opened the photo he had taken the night before, Sophia in the hotel doorway, her lips locked with the man in the suit. He slid the phone across the table. Sophia's smile faltered. Her fingers twitched. Her face lost its color. Daniel's voice was low, steady, but heavy with pain. "Tell me who he is." For a long moment, silence filled the room. Then Sophia laughed softly, though it sounded forced. "Daniel, you don't understand. It's not what it looks like." "Don't lie." Daniel interrupted, his eyes sharp. "I followed you. I saw you. You told me you were working late. You told me you were helping your cousin. How many lies, Sophia? How many nights?" Her lips parted, but no words came. She looked down at the table, shame flickering in her eyes. When she finally spoke, her voice was small. He makes me feel alive. You're good to me, Daniel. Better than anyone has ever been. But with you, everything is so safe, so quiet. I needed more." The words pierced Daniel's heart like a blade. He wanted to shout, to demand why love wasn't enough. But the fight drained out of him. He sat back, staring at her, his chest tight. "You could have told me," he whispered. "You could have ended it before breaking me like this." Sophia's eyes welled up with tears. But they were not tears of love, they were tears of being caught. "I didn't want to lose you," she said softly. "I wanted both." Daniel shook his head slowly. "No, you wanted comfort and thrill, and you thought I'd never see the truth." The silence between them was suffocating. Sophia reached across the table, trying to touch his hand, but Daniel pulled away. His heart, once wide open for her, now felt like stone. Finally, he stood. "It's over, Sophia. Whatever we had, whatever I thought we had, it's gone. I don't even know who you are anymore." Sophia's tears fell, but Daniel didn't look back. He opened the door and waited. She picked up her bag with trembling hands and walked out, her footsteps echoing in the hallway. When the door shut, Daniel sank into the chair, his chest hollow. The apartment was filled with the scent of roses he had once bought for her, now wilting in a vase on the table. Everything reminded him of what he had lost, not just her, but the future he had built in his heart. And though Sophia's betrayal had shattered him, Daniel knew this heartbreak was also his freedom. He had loved her with everything he had. But love without truth was never love at all.